Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Real Talk for Real Teens, hosted by Kim Creighton, or as she's known by the people who know her best, Mama C. The show where we uniquely combine the information teens need with the entertainment teens want.
Welcome, guys, to another episode of Real Talk for Real Teens. This is Kim Creighton, Mama C. Welcoming you back to another evening. My guest tonight is someone I really care about, unfortunately. Someone who, oh, God, without me knowing about it, was able to creep into my heart. And, man, damn, it's like, her name is Frances, and so she'll be here talking to you guys. The name of the show is Life After High School, and you know that I've really been doing this show for just the guys that help me. Excuse me, I am such babbling today. I am not feeling well. So let's get right into it. Because of me, Kim. I don't like you. Just introduce yourself, please.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Frances. I graduated from Riverdale High School as a valedictorian. I am currently a sophomore in college, and yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start back with when you were in high school, and
okay.
The main question I have was, how prepared did you believe you were, or think you were, when you were in your senior year for what was to come after high school?
I knew I wasn't the best of the best. Like, I knew I wasn't 100% prepared, but I didn't realize that I was as unprepared in certain areas as I was. I definitely could.
Tell me what you thought you were prepared
in. Well, I knew I was prepared in, like, math and science, but writing, which is not really my greatest, strength or whatever, but I thought I was okay, and I really wasn't as good as I thought I was. Nowhere near, actually.
So you thought you were prepared in, so academics you thought you
academically,
were okay.
That's just academically speaking.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, so what did you think you were prepared for, not academically, and what you realized that you weren't, or as prepared?
Well, I knew I wasn't socially prepared because I'm not really a very social person. I'm not really a people person. So I knew I wasn't prepared to be around a group of new people. Yeah, I know. Especially in the environment that I was in, that was very, very new. I was really closed-minded, not open to new things, and going into college as a freshman, you have to be open-minded and prepared for just about anything that comes your way because it's unpredictable. I wasn't prepared for that, and just the challenges of realizing that you're not a kid anymore. Everybody's not there to hold your hand every step of the way. I think I wasn't prepared to necessarily be exactly on my own.
Okay. So you had so for you, there were both academic and personal social issues or concerns that you thought you had covered, or thought you could, you knew enough to get by, and then you got out there, you realized, oh crap, this isn't what I thought it was. Okay, well give us some
exactly.
Give us some examples about that, because I one of them is really, and I thank you because I know you're going to be honest on the show. You were not a people person. You are not a people person. You were very cliquish. You had your group of people, your group of friends. You were very in your face with a lot of people a lot. you were valedictorian. You were ego. You were had that ego going on.
I didn't have an ego, Kim.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Not if you don't stop saying my name or Southern. Oh my God. You you thought your shit didn't stink. You really, you did. You thought you were prom queen. You and your boyfriend were prom king and queen. You were on the dance team most of the time in high school. You were always at the top of your class. You thought you were the shit. Let's be honest.
I had confidence, but I didn't have an ego. No.
Oh my God!
I was extremely confident, but I did not have an ego.
How many times did you get into arguments about just stupidness?
That wasn't stupidness, Kim.
Yes, because of your attitude and how you treated people. Come on, Francis, let's be real. You were.
That wasn't because of my attitude. That was because they were stupid. That's why. My attitude is just fine. It just starts to act up when people come around with the nonsense. That's all.
Okay, so you're going to have a conversation with me on live air where you're going to blame other people for your behavior with me, of all people in the world, because you know you had some folks who allowed you to say all that mess. But you know me better than that. You know I'm not going to let you get away with blaming other people for your behavior.
Kim, I only acted out of character when I had to.
Oh, so that was you had to act out. So to me, it wasn't out of character. It was a part of your character. It wasn't out of character. I mean, let's get real. You was a bitch at times. Come on now.
Oh, every woman is. You are too, Kim.
No, not for the stuff, and I'm not anymore. But not for the stuff that you were. I'm just putting it out here because we're having an honest conversation about how confident people in high school are about of what you know about life, and then you go out there and it kicks you square in your butt because you were arrogant because you thought you were smarter than everybody. You when you became valedictorian, it proved it. You had you're a cute little girl, had a cute little boyfriend, and you thought, you was a big fish. Is that correct to say? You were a big fish.
Okay, point taken.
Yes or no? So you're right? You're a big fish, and you ate that up. How was that when you went out to the school? First of all, how many people were at that school? Not high school, but when the college you went to first time. What's the enrollment there?
I don't even remember. It's a really small school, though.
But it was more than that 200 and something you graduated with.
Yeah, of course.
Well, no, don't say of course, because there are some very small colleges. So it wasn't a huge college, but it had over, let's say, 2,000 people.
Yes.
Okay. So, and I'm good. And again, as I said when I started, I know you very well. So when you tell everybody what I told you when I found out you were valedictorian, what did I tell you?
You told me that I was number one here, at Riverdale, and that I was at the top of the bottom, basically.
But I congratulated you.
In a nutshell. Yes, you did.
I said congratulations on your accomplishment. You worked hard. You deserved it. But I knew where you were trying to go. And I wanted you to be very, because most people in your community at that school don't really go, until they graduate high school, very seldom go outside of that community. So you're a big fish in a very little pond. And academically, and this is nothing against Riverdale, it's just the straight truth. Anybody can go look at the numbers. You were at a Title I school. You were in the Georgia public school system, and Georgia's 40-something, 44 on the list of graduation rates. And so it wasn't to say to throw what you did in your face. It was to say, great, but there's so much more that's out there that you haven't experienced, and you're going to be competing. The people you're going to be peers with are not going to be these same group of people. And I did not want you to go away to school and just be totally shocked, because I knew what you were about to go into. Because, first of all, you went from a predominantly black school to a predominantly white school. You went from a public school to a Christian school. To a Christian private school. And so talk about that experience.
Well, of course, with the group of friends that I had, the environment, going to a predominantly white school and also living with a Caucasian person was a complete and total culture shock for me. The things they thought were fun, I didn't think were fun. The things they were into, I wasn't into. It was just like I felt like a Martian, like I was just floating in the middle of nowhere, and I just questioned, why am I here every day? I was miserable. I didn't like it. It was just woo, I'm having flashbacks. I didn't like it. And it really, really, really shocked me. But it did make me branch out. Like, it did make me come out of my box, of my shell a little bit. Yeah,
because you had to learn to survive. And that's a lesson about everything. When you go to a new job, and that's why I wanted to let you know, giving you that compliment and saying congratulations on one hand, but making sure I didn't walk away letting you know that great, but not but great, put a period on that. Where you're going, the broader world is so much bigger and so much more variety than what you were used to. And I think that is a disservice that schools now do. Young people, you guys don't go on field trips. You don't go. In high school, you don't go. You don't do anything. A lot of those kids in Clayton County don't ever leave Clayton County, and so their perspective of the world is so very narrow and small that they just don't see a broader perspective. And I was happy with the choice that you made when you went away to school.
Well,
I knew it was something close.
I wouldn't say I think I'm an exception to that. For one, having my dad as my parent, being African, he's always instilled in me, point blank period, you are not just competing, with your peers, with your classmates, you are competing with the world. So when you told me what you told me, it wasn't the first time I've ever heard it, because I've heard it at home. Almost every time I brought home a report card with straight A's on it, congratulations, but, whatever. Where most kids would be rewarded, I never was. So that wasn't a shock to me. And then I ventured out when I was in high school. I did a summer science academy at Emory. I, tried to broaden my horizons. I didn't want to stay in the little Clayton County bubble. It wasn't for me. Not all my life, no. So and that was an experience too.
Which one?
Going to Emory.
And again, that's on academic level. So let's talk about how you fared with, because you said you got down there and you encountered all these different people who have interests that are not your own, who have who live in certain environments that are not familiar to you. How did you handle that socially? Because you said you came out of your shell a little bit.
Being that I was basically forced to coexist in like a matchbox with somebody who was completely different from me, and there was, we had different tastes in music, and initially, I'm not going to lie, I thought she was a weirdo. I was like, I don't know how this happened. Like, why is she my roommate? We're like, day and night, I didn't know how it happened, and I tried to conjure up a plan to get me out of being her roommate. It didn't work, so I was forced to, you know. So, I mean, like, she really made, like, I listened to pirate music, like she was into things like that. I gave it a listen, I gave it a try. No, I did not like it, and I still thought it was weird, but I was like, well, she's not weird, she's just different from me. And as, you know, the semester kept going on, that's when I began to realize that just because she's not like me doesn't make her a weirdo. And she listened to different music. Her music selection was very, very unique. She was into fan fiction, like Harry Potter, like things like that. The TV shows she watched, completely different. I go from watching Bad Girls Club and Real Housewives of Atlanta to some makeup show on Sci-Fi. Like, that was different. And then just the school system she was in, the way she wrote and the way I wrote, the way she sucked at math and I was great. It was kind of like we kind of had a bond, like we build
so y'all
on
found
each other.
Y'all found ways to help each other out.
Mhm.
Well, that's great. And I mean, I'm going to try to describe, because you guys couldn't get away from each other, because the way your dorm room was set up, I'm trying to, let me try to explain this and describe this to the audience here. Okay, so let's take a refrigerator, your average refrigerator, not your double wide refrigerator, but your average refrigerator. Okay, so let's say, because I'm just using that as a measurement so people can see what that is. If you lay a refrigerator down so that it's flat, it's laying on its back, and the long is the length, I would say a refrigerator and a half was your room. It was small. So you had two beds in there that were stacked on top of each other, two desks, and a window?
A sink, one window, a sink, and that was it.
And to get to the air conditioner and heating, you had to climb over somebody's bed to get to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how small it was. So it was like, whoever was watching whatever, the other person had to be watching it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Whatever she was listening to, I was listening to. Whatever I was listening to, she was listening to. Like,
so did you guys figure out a way to negotiate that?
Most of the time she would like read or whatever, and she would like to have background noise when she read. So when I would be, doing my math work or something and listening to music, it didn't really bother her that much. Or when I would come in and I would be doing work, I can work with background music. Even though her music didn't fit my liking, if I came in and she was playing her music first, I just had to deal with it. Or if I was playing my music first and she wanted it to be quiet, she just kind of had to deal with it. Or she would, kind of tell me, can you turn that down a little bit? And that was it. We just worked out a system.
So you were able to figure it out.
And like with the TV in the room, we would, come together and be like, well, my show comes on at this time. And she was like, well, my show comes on at this time. And then, like, we'll exchange because, like, at one point in time, our TV shows, like, collided with one another. And then every other week we were interchanged having to watch our TV show online because we missed it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's some great negotiating skills with, because that's, sometimes you have to do that. You take this, you lived in a box, so literally that was a great way, because that could have been handled quite differently. Both of you could have made each other, because I'm sure she felt the same way about your music and everything else. And so you guys could have made that a very uncomfortable experience for both of you, but you figured out a way to do it. I want to now talk about academics. So what was it like? And then we want to get into, because you were saying you don't think you were really ready to be on your own. But I want to know, what's the difference that you experienced being in high school and being in college?
Okay. Perfect example. I use this all the time. My senior year, everybody knows, your senior year, if you're not in AP English, you have to do this. senior paper, this research paper. It's like your big, like the highlight of your high school career. And I did that paper, and I worked hard on that paper, and I got a 98 on that paper, and I was like, I'm a great writer. I started my first semester at Mercer, and I was like, I got an English class. I'm going to beast this. This is going to be an easy A. And I wrote my first paper, and I thought it was going to be an A, and I had a B- on it. And I was like, what? And I went back to my room. I read all her comments, and I was confused. And I had my senior paper with me. And I'm like, I wrote my senior paper this exact way and got a 98 on it. And here is a B-. Something isn't right. My roommate, who happened to be an excellent writer, looked over my paper and was like, well, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's not how you quote. That's not how you do this. That's not how you do that. So I'm thinking I'm a fairly good writer, and I'm wrong. I was not prepared in any way, shape, form, or fashion for college-level writing class, English class at all, period. That was like a big slap in the face.
Wow.
For me.
So was it, and we're not talking about blaming teachers or wherever, you just think it was the curriculum, or was it the fact of researching and how to make, do APS or APA, whatever they call it, the style of notation, or was it just plain, you weren't an effective, how to put nouns, predicates and all that stuff together?
I think it was the curriculum. I don't blame any of my teachers. Well,
we won't blame them on
except one. I will say that I did learn in their classes. Shout out to Miss Walker.
Okay.
But I did learn everything that I felt like I was supposed to learn, except my senior year. I don't think the curriculum allowed us to devote enough time to really learn how to write a paper. And then, like, even if we were having problems writing the paper, I don't think there were enough resources for us to use to, work on, like, your writing. I think there should have been workshops. I think there should have been just a whole lot more devoted to that area. Personally.
Okay, 'cause I want to talk about that, because by senior year, my assumption is you know how to write.
Mhm.
I mean, you've been in school for 12 years now, and you don't know how to write. So you're saying that you're talking about workshops on what? What did you think you were doing well, and what you realized you weren't doing? I need specifics. I mean, so what do you mean?
Okay, just the way we worked our, like, quotes into our paper, like introducing a quote, we didn't really, that wasn't fully explained to me. Like, you can't just throw a quote in your paper. You have to introduce it. It has to flow. Like the citing in the end with in the parentheses and things like that, I had, but, like, she literally allowed us to just make our statement, go with our point, and then boom, just put the quote and keep going. That was wrong.
And so you're saying, instead of saying as stated by blah blah blah, then you put the quote in, and then you say blah 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 blah. That's what this teacher did not. You did not do. You just went with Francis threw somebody else's words in it, and then went back to Francis.
Mhm.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. So you're saying the writing was. So what else was different academically?
Okay. In high school, this has another deal with writing. In high school, we didn't write any other style but MLA. So having to write 10-page papers in Chicago style was like, what?
Yeah, that's what I learned. I didn't learn MLA. I learned Chicago style. Okay. Yeah. And so did you even know it existed before then?
All I knew was MLA, and I think it was like APA, is it?
Yeah, I think,
and it's another one, but the only reason why I knew that even existed was because on the citation machine website, it was like a little Dropbox or whatever, and you got to choose. So I knew it existed. I never heard of Chicago style till I got to his class, and I was like, oh,
so
okay.
Did you know how to research it? Did you? Okay, so when this is what one of my concerns with this. It's not just English, but it's just period. Once you realize when you got to this class and you knew, okay, oh my God, I don't know how to use this Chicago style. Did you feel you were had the skills to go find out what it was?
Well, I had a great professor that, worked with me. And, of course, we had, like, a writing workshop. And, like I said, my roommate was, like, a superb writer. So those were, like, my resources
but I'm
that I
used.
used.
Have that. I mean, you guys have the Internet at your – I mean, you have walk around with computers in your pockets all day long. And this is what my one of my issues with education is. Everybody's so afraid of you guys cheating. And you're going to cheat. We cheated. We cheated and we didn't even have computers. Okay, but everybody's so concerned with you guys cheating and Facebooking and spending time online that you're not you're not using your tools effectively. All you guys basically know how to do is tweet, go to Facebook, and check on stuff. You don't use your phones or whatever for research. So for me, if I would have come up like, what is the Chicago style? I would have immediately, having this tool in front of me or in my pocket, put in a search engine, what is Chicago style? And that's where I think you guys, because the broader world is doing that. It's happening at work. If somebody doesn't know something at work, they don't have to go to the library anymore. They don't have to go through the Dewey Decimal System. They don't have to research books. You just throw in, especially these search engines, they are very specific. I mean, you can get down to the nitty. You can find the most obscure data just by putting it in a search bar. And so I think a lot of the struggles you guys have is, and so this is why I kind of want to get to. What do you feel, and now I get away from specific classes. I want to know, how was it just being in high school and going to college? Because high school, how were your professors? How were your teachers different from high school than college? How were you treated differently from the system of high school and the system of college?
Teacher-wise, like I said, I've been one of the few students to actually have great teachers, and because of, if I don't talk to anybody while I'm in the classroom, I will most definitely get to know who's teaching me, because at the end of the day, they are in control of my grade, and they know what I need to know. So I think there really wasn't that much of a difference, because if I needed help in high school and I went to my teacher, I received it. And the same in college. I mean, I really didn't see a difference. I think I had great professors.
What about the level of accountability? And it might not have been you. What did you see amongst your peers? What was the level of accountability that's different from high school and college?
I would say that syllabus is really everything to me. Like, I had a few professors that would be like, well, we have to do this, don't forget about this, reminder here, reminder there. But for the most part, you were supposed to, that syllabus was your life. You come to class, you come prepared, you're held accountable for completing this many pages of work or reading this many pages in this novel. It's on you. You have to take it upon yourself to make sure your work is done, and they're not going to care as much whether or not you do it, because
and this is college you're talking about, right?
Yes, they're really not going to care that much that you do it. If you don't, then that's your grade.
So how is it in high school, and did that prepare you for that? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah and no, I would say. I'm on the fence.
Huh?
I'm on the fence.
Okay.
I can't.
Well, while you're in the business, because I'm trying to figure out, because there was particular, since you were a valedictorian, you got a lot of doors open for you in high school.
Mhm.
Whereas a lot of your peers would not have gotten for themselves. But I'm talking about when it came to, let's think about some of your peers. I know some of your peers would spend, would a teacher have to say, hey, turn in your homework?
Yeah. Mhm.
And would they have to say it repeatedly?
And then most of the class would be like, go the whole class period and be like, she didn't say nothing about the homework. They, try to get everybody on the same page. Like, if she don't ask, don't nobody say nothing. So, of course, like, if the teacher didn't ask for it, nobody's like, well, here, I did my homework. Or I got a problem on that homework problem. Like, ain't nobody saying that in the classroom.
And so, in college, if they don't ask for it, does that mean it don't count?
Well, this was my thing. I don't know anywhere else, but it was more of electronic submission. So you don't press.
I'm saying if you didn't turn it in, because you're saying in high school, everybody's saying, hey, don't ask, as if the teacher's stupid and don't know they assigned you homework, and so so you don't turn it in. You go back to class the next day, they might say, hey, y'all didn't turn in the homework, right? In college, is the professor going to say, hey, y'all didn't turn in the homework?
No.
Exactly. It's just going to be a straight zero because you knew the due date, right?
Exactly.
And that's
if
what
it
I'm
ain't missed by 11:59, then you just add it up.
Exactly.
Ain't no way around it. And they're going to come in the next day and keep it rolling. Straight to the next thing on the student.
Please talk about that. Because in school, if Billy played around or didn't come to school for whatever reasons and missed something, in high school, he's pissed if the teacher doesn't go back and explain to him. What's it like in college?
It will tell you plain as day on the syllabus. You are held accountable for anything you missed, whether you in the hospital, you went to a funeral. It's an excused absence, but you're not excused from your work.
Exactly.
You need to take it upon yourself, figure out what you missed. You better find a buddy, do something in class, or you will be SOL.
What about the whole going back and forth with teachers about your grade in class, snapping off, doing all this stuff? Are you able to just go into a classroom and just have a conversation with a professor whenever you choose to?
No. I have office hours from this time to this time. If you can't make it, I don't know what to tell you.
Thank you. All this stopping me in the hall when I'm going to lunch, to the bathroom, and all that in high school does not work, people. I got office hours. I have office hours between whatever and whatever. If you can't make an appointment to be there, then that's on you, buddy. What about the arguing back and forth about grades? Bringing your mama and your daddy in about grades, does that fly in college?
No, not at all. Definitely not. They will tell you, I don't give you a grade, you earn your grade. If you got an 89.4, you just got an 89. Like,
ain't nobody no one's trying to push your grade up so you can get to the next level, right?
Right.
What about your peers? And I know you saw them the last 2 weeks before graduation, running around trying to get work done that they didn't get done all school year. Is a college professor gonna make more work for themselves? Yes or no?
Nope.
Okay. That's. I just really want to be clear about that because one of the issues you had, and this is real, and this is really got me. You valedictorian class, and what was one of the main issues when you went down to your school? You didn't have money. I did not understand. That was something I could not understand for the most of the time you were there. Is how does a valedictorian still struggle with paying for school? And how did that feel? How did that feel to be, you've worked all these years and you go away to school and then what?
I realized that I had to pay for everything. It's not free.
Did anybody really in your family discuss that with you about what school costs, how you was going to get paid, where were you going to eat, all that stuff? Was that talked about?
No. It was just...
Go ahead.
Well, like my older sister, she went off to college. I wasn't really thinking about college then when she went, so that went over my head. And then my other sister didn't leave. She didn't go to college. And then when my other sister went, it was a breeze for her. She didn't have any of the issues or problems that I had. So I think that's really why it wasn't really talked about, because nobody else went to a school that was expensive as mine. So.
And the reason I'm bringing this up, because we had Scholarship Academy on here a few weeks ago at the beginning of the year. And we're still in the beginning of the year, a few weeks ago. And something that really got me was the conversation about scholarships and stuff just doesn't happen as early as it should for most people who really want to go to college. It shouldn't have mattered that you went to an expensive school. You were valedictorian. You should have had a free ride. When did the scholarship conversation start for you? Did they start your junior year, your senior year, your freshman year?
Year.
Your who?
Junior year. I was told about scholarships. Start looking for scholarships. And that came about because, it was my 10th grade year because of the Gates Millennium, and that's when I had, when my sister graduated, and I really wanted that scholarship, and that's when I started looking into all types of scholarships that I was eligible for. So that was when I first heard about scholarships. Like, I realized how important it was, but I didn't really get the one-on-one conversation about scholarships until my junior year, I would say, around the time that I took my SAT and stuff.
And so that was actually your second semester of your junior year.
Mhm.
All right, because when Jessica was on from the Scholarship Academy, at that point, you've already missed, you're right in where everybody, and this is what I try to tell people, at this point, you're right in the middle of everybody applying, and your competition is higher. But so you were the valedictorian, somebody specifically talked to you, were any of your peers who weren't, just your average students, when did they start talking about scholarships? If they talked about scholarships.
We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about that, so.
See, that's what so it's like, even the people who you hung out with but weren't academically as, had the same success as you did academically, so it was like it's not even a conversation, but people think you're going to college. But no one's having a real conversation about how it's going to get paid for.
No.
And that's something I really want to work on, because there is no way, like I said, first of all, that you were valedictorian and you had to come on because of money. But the fact that all these other people, they want to go to college, but yet their conversations they're just not having the conversations, period. So they're not even applying in their senior years. Everybody's waiting on financial aid, which is Pell Grants and Hope Scholarship, and which is a finite pot of money. Well, I want to get into now, since we talked about, first of all, okay, let's talk about what did you mean by you didn't think you were prepared to be on your own?
I think that goes back to financially, just because I think most people don't really get the same, they're not financed the same way from their parents once they go to college. So I think financially I wasn't prepared. Socially, I don't think I was prepared. I had never been away from my family for more than 2 weeks. So that was different for me, not seeing my family all the time as often as I was.
So
I
let's
wouldn't
talk
say,
about. Go ahead.
yeah, because, I mean, nobody really, yeah, I think that's just about it. That's all I have to say on that.
So you weren't. I mean, just the difference of the adjusting to life was just a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's kind of normal. You're out on your own. Nobody's telling you to wake up to go to class. No one's washing your clothes.
Well, that's not different for me because I never had anyone wash my clothes. I haven't had anybody wake me up for school since I was like in 6th grade, so that wasn't new for me.
Okay, but think about your peers. Okay, so but what about your peers?
That may be different for them. Yeah, that may be a lot different for them.
Exactly, because I know some folks who parents are still waking up. They come to show up to high school late. Why? Because my mama didn't wake me up on time. Okay, all right. So I want to talk to you about social when you talk about social, because as I said, you and your boyfriend were like the big it couple on campus, and and there was a lot of drama there.
Yeah.
A lot of drama there. What have you learned being out of? You've been out of school for 2 years now, and you thought I mean, because as I talk about in this show, you were one of those couples that truly was living like you were married.
We still do.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So
I know, right?
What? What's your mom?
I was never away from him either. That was big for me too. Being in a.
Wait a minute. Why are you whining all of a sudden?
I'm not whining. I'm just asthmatic.
Who? You asthmatic? Is that what you just said?
I said I'd never been away from him either. So that was big for me, not seeing him.
Oh, that was so dependent and so gross. It was just like, oh my God. I mean, even in high school, y'all got on my nerves. I love both of you individually, but together you got on my nerves.
I know.
So how has that been? I mean, how? So you're telling me that okay? I don't even know where to go with this because this is some news that I didn't know. That y'all were still together. So I'm just sitting back here like, okay, all right. He nothing. Okay. So with that said, I'm gonna how has that been? What's the reality of it? Because you thought you knew everything back then. You was just y'all was just doing y'all thing. So
now you know I didn't know everything. As many times I came to you crying, our little one-on-one sessions in your car, I definitely didn't know everything. Yeah.
I swear to God, if somebody would have walked past,
if somebody would have walked past, seen me crying, they would have thought you was cussing me out because that's more in your character.
See, there you go. See, I don't cuss y'all out unless y'all need it.
See, now when I said, now hold on, wait, Kim. Now, when I said I only went off on people unless they needed it, unless they put themselves in that situation to throw off on them.
Excuse me, that was a peer of yours. I went off.
But you think that okay?
Excuse me. As an adult, y'all were messy. There was nothing I did that was messy. You guys were messy. He's sleeping with this, and she saying this. That's messy. What I got in y'all asses about was that crap. And you know it. Exactly. What I got in your butt about specifically was get your nose out the air and stop thinking your shit don't stink.
It don't. It smell like flowers.
Yeah, flowers with shit on it. So that was my issue, and the fact that you guys are living very much married lives with none of the benefits of marriage. Hello? Ooh, it's quiet over there. Ooh, hello? Hello?
I'm listening to you.
I mean, it got quiet. You know, all that all that goes on. Y'all arguing, fussing and fighting, slamming doors, cussing folks out, slapping people in public, and acting plumb fools. And don't have not marriage license, one. Don't have no benefits of taxes or nothing.
Definitely not that. What's the question exactly?
Well, I told you I'm stumped. I'm kind of trying to regroup here because this is news to me. Because last we spoke, there was a whole nother reality.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's still away at school?
Yes, he's in school.
I said, is he still away at school?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure he hadn't come back either. All right. And you know I love him to death. And unlike your other people, didn't have a problem with him. But my issue with both of you was the dysfunction that was going on in the relationship. Period. Not knowing how to have conversations with people when there was a disagreement or a difference of opinion or a misunderstanding. Has that improved since you've gotten older?
Well, my personal goal for myself is to work on my attitude and my temper and to keep my hands to myself. So.
Oh, okay. So it's now coming out at the end of the conversation that you do have a problem with your attitude. See, when we talked about this at the beginning of the conversation, I don't have no attitude. So now
that doesn't exclude. Cameron does do stupid things, so that's why I go off on him all the time. But like I said, I'm gonna learn how to excuse people from their stupidity.
Oh,
and
wow!
Yes.
How magnanimous of you! How gracious of you! Oh my God! Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting. Oh my God, we are so great to be in your presence. And now you know what? No, don't want to. I mean, then you sit there and wonder why people thought you were a bitch in high school.
I don't care if they thought I was to be honest, I am a bitch.
Oh, well, thank you. I said that earlier.
No, you were talking about my attitude. I argue with you on my attitude. I own the word bitch. I really do.
So what do you get out of that? What does that do for you?
It's nothing that I get out of it. It's just that I accept myself for who I am. I'm not going to lie to myself every day and say that I act like a child of God every day, because I don't. I just know that I can be a bitch.
But why?
90% of the time.
But why?
It's just who I am. You sound like him. Why you gotta be so mean? Because that's who I am.
But see,
I can't.
Yeah, you can't.
It's a part of my personality.
You better not.
It's a part of my personality, Kim. I didn't even say it. I didn't say it. I said it's a part of my personality.
And is it a part of your personality that works for you, that's going to benefit you in the long run, yes or no?
Okay. I can't answer that. Yes.
No.
Yes, I can. Okay, yes, I can. I'll answer yes or no. I'll answer yes. Yes. Why? Because I could turn my bitch on and I could turn my bitch off.
Because what happens is I can't believe you just said that. Okay, so you can turn your bitch on and turn your bitch off like it's a switch. Okay, so my point is, why do that? Why be that? Why, when you know, because it seems like it's a conscious choice. I mean, you get a thrill out of it. It makes it's some kind of identifier for you.
I don't necessarily get a thrill out of it. It's really a personal problem, though. Like, I feel like if I'm not, let me explain. I feel like if I don't stand my ground, I feel like if I'm too nice to people, then I feel like I'm getting ran over, and I don't like that feeling. So
why does being assertive? See, this is where women. This is one of my main women issues. When I'm gonna tell you with you little black girls, and I'm gonna tell you that, because I'm gonna tell you because I know from experience, the angry black woman thing that everybody says we do have. We walk around because with these big chips on our shoulders, being angry all the time. When in fact, all we're doing is trying to protect ourselves because we're so afraid of being hurt. But what we're doing is turning off the world. Someone sees that, they're going to go in the opposite direction. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how cute you are. I don't care what kind of personality you have. I don't care what you have to offer. The larger world sees that and goes in the opposite direction. The only reason people like myself gravitate to you young ladies, because we see I'm going to speak for myself. I see who I was, and so I understand it. But it takes a lot to get there. I mean, because you and I weren't friends right off the bat. It took a lot for me just to keep pulling for you to let down your guard and to trust me so that when you did have issues, you could come to me. Who the hell wants to work that hard just to help you? You can laugh if you want to. But bottom line, that's just the honest God's truth. Outside of people who really get to know you, and it takes a lot to get to know you. And you're not the only one. All y'all walking around with these chips in y'all shoulders. And so someone has to work to really get to know you so that you feel safe enough to be yourself. But the larger world, just like you said at school, the professor doesn't care. The larger world just doesn't. They care less than your professor. So it's like, why you guys keep putting up these I mean, I know why. I did it. And that's why I try to talk to you guys about it, because it took me this long to get beyond the angry black woman facade or mask that I had. And I lost out on a lot because of that. I missed a lot of opportunities. And I have a better personality than a whole lot of people. I can usually get almost anybody to like me. And that's not even saying, I'm being manipulative. I just got a great personality. I'll talk to anybody. Nobody intimidates me. I'll talk to the president, to the janitor. So I've always been that way. I can talk to a person who listens to heavy metal, the person who listens to rap, the person who's meditating. I can flow with everybody. But I always had that thing that kept people from getting to know me. And yeah, everybody doesn't get to know you, but everybody's not out to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why do you guys keep putting up this wall, this shell, this thing that makes it so hard? I mean, it's like, all you can see when y'all start talking, you can literally see y'all heads spinning, you can see y'all nails, y'all fingers snapping, and them eyes rolling. Ain't nobody even got to be in front of you. Just by the tone of your voice, they can see all that. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to miss out on opportunities in life for that very reason. Because people are going to walk away. It's like your Caucasian roommate. There's a whole bunch of folks out there, and they just going to walk in the other direction. So he has a point. Why are you so angry? If this is the person that you care about and you love, and why are you so mean to him? That's a great point. And it's bullshit to say, that's how I am. That's crap. You do it because you can get away with it with him. That's why we do stuff to our parents that we know we can get away with because they're going to love us anyway. But we shouldn't be doing that. And the fact that you know that there's an issue, don't do it for him. You just need to, you and the audience as a whole really needs to look at what you want and what about your personalities, your attitudes, your mouths, your actions are standing in your way, because trust me, they will stand in your way. And that first impression, it can harm you just down the line. Because some of them same people you was being a bitch with in high school, you never know what they can do for you or what position they'll be in beyond that. And that's something I really want you to think about. I love you to death, but that was my issue. You need to calm that down.
I'm working on it, Kim.
Oh, stop whining. Oh, don't stop. Now you want to be out. No, she was a bitch, right? What you whining for? I'm working on it. No. What? I can't hear you. What?
I said I'm
Put
not
your big girl
whining.
draw. Put your big girl draws back on. What?
Kim, you heard me. I said I'm working on my attitude.
Roll your neck again.
I didn't even roll my neck.
I said roll your neck again, and if you want to. Because you know we went on this call right now. If we weren't live, we weren't recording this.
Y'all hear that, world? I think that was a threat. It was an indirect threat.
No, it was a direct. There's no shame in my game. Because you know I got your back regardless, but I'm going to put that foot in it when you need it.
Mhm. But seriously, I am working on my attitude and my.
So what does I'm working on my attitude mean?
Versus yelling, I try talking or asking for a minute to calm down. I leave a situation if I feel like I want to get physical. I walk away. That's me working on my attitude.
No, those are working on your actions. That's working on the reaction you have. That's not working on working on my attitude is proactive. What you're talking about are reactive things. When something happens, this is how I'm choosing not to react. What I want to happen when what are you doing that doesn't cause? Because you act as if all these things happen to you. That you, oh my God, you're just so innocently sitting on a bench in a park bench, sitting in the park on a park bench, and the sun is shining, and there's rainbows and there's flowers all around. All of a sudden, this bad person comes up to you and just said something, and oh my God, I have to react. That's not how that rolls.
That is what happens a lot of the time. I'm serious.
I can't believe you just said that. Okay, all right, okay. And I was being quite facetious, and you just went there. Okay,
I know.
That right there tells me you got an attitude problem. You don't see nothing wrong in your behavior, or I'm not even going to say wrong, inappropriate in your behavior that causes, just like you feed off other people, they feed off you. Stop being a victim.
I'm not being a victim. Not all the time. But most of the time I am a victim. I'm a victim of other people's stupid actions. Like, I don't understand why they would do that. Like,
we really don't have time for this. We really don't. We have 2 minutes, and I got to end on that because I just can't believe you just said you're a victim. That everything happens to you. You're so innocent, and the world just happens on you, and you're just trying to protect yourself from being, accosted and being threatened and hurt. So on that note, I just want you to say something just to end the conversation because I just feel so sorry for you.
do you need a Kleenex, Kim?
No, I need you to stop talking shit, but that's another story. Yeah, that's a story for another time. You're going to have to come back on the show because we're going to really have to talk about this because that is straight crap. And if I had more time, we'd get into it.
Well, we only got a minute.
Yeah, that time is saving your butt. So what do you want to say in the last few seconds?
I want to thank you for asking me to come on the show first and foremost. And I hope everyone that's listening got something from my personal opinion and just my personal experiences, and maybe it'll help them and help them grow in the future. And thank you for listening.
Well, I want to say I'm really proud of you because I know how you have issues with public speaking. So I must say I'm very proud of you for taking that leap and coming on and being, I thought you were going to get all shy on me but you only got all shy when you were talking out the side of your neck. And so I want to thank you. I love you, but this conversation is not over, boo. Take care.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too, Kim.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye.